Hello, Miami! It is a beautiful day for a championship Sunday. There are 4 teams left. And Joe, no matter what today, we crown a new champ.
A new champion. I mean, these 4 teams, not what we expected coming into this weekend. You know, you look at the loser side, Gen.G, Reciprocity. Gen.G always in that conversation, but the winners bracket final we'll have later today, E-United and FaZe, both with some incredible wins so far throughout this weekend.
Before we start to talk about this matchup, with the 4 teams left, who's your favorite to take it?
From what we haven't watched much E-United,
True,
but I think it comes down to whoever wins the winners bracket final between FaZe and E-United.
Makes sense. That'll be the big matchup after this, but to give you a refresher on how the action is broken down thus far this weekend, this is the grand finals bracket. FaZe and E-United get there through Luminosity and Gen.G as they'll wait to play in the next match in the winners bracket final. And on the loser side, Reciprocity and Gen.G. Reciprocity with the dream run last night to beat Luminosity. You heard the desk talk about Dylan's insane performance, a 24-2 stretch over a 2-minute span to come from behind and get the massive win. They take the game 5 after that. And then for Gen.G, the bump in the road. Yep. Well, hell, more the roadblock, the wall that's been in front of them. It's been 100 Thieves. Last night, they punched through that wall. They punch a ticket into Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get back to another final, but here we go. We're going to look at a team comparison so far throughout this weekend. You see Reciprocity 4-1 in hardpoint throughout this weekend, and yes, we credit that a lot to Dylan and his play. But other guys have stepped up. Alex has been more consistent. Zed, the other SOG, when you talk about that duo, has been much better. But it reminds me a lot of their Fort Worth run, right? Just surviving when they need to, clutching up, winning those game 5s.
It's like, I don't care personally how this plays out, but there's part of me that wants Reciprocity to win, FaZe to lose. Then you get the brothers matching up against each other like that. We've had that a couple times this year, and it never disappoints. But when you and I took a look at this, we were talking to JP, our stats guy, about this particular matchup, and some of the maps they're strong for Reciprocity, but they're very, very good for Gen.G, especially the first 3. Is the big key for you, Reciprocity, to surviving the early bits of this series?
Yeah, I think so, right? I think it was like 16-3 for that first hard point, 14-3 for the Search and Destroy. Obviously, that's throughout the year, but Gen.G, these are strong maps for them. I think the one is map 2, Gridlock, Search and Destroy. I think Reciprocity is 3-0 this weekend, so they have a lot of repetitions on that. But I will say, you know, you've had the night off after that match. You're gonna do your prep work going into that match.
Do you feel either of these teams had to leave a little bit more on the table last night to get to this point?
I mean, you would probably say Reciprocity, but you know Gen.G going up against 100 Thieves put a lot of pressure on them, right, going to that game 5, but it just feels like Reciprocity survived, right, to get to here. They clutched up in a crazy moment. But for Gen.G, beating 100 Thieves, a team that is just giving them so many problems all year long.
Well, you heard the interview with Havoc afterwards. I mean, he said it was like the best feeling in the world. It almost seemed like he was happier to beat 100 Thieves than he was like the second place last event. Like, to get past that roadblock, you could tell how much it meant to him and this squad, as 100 Thieves have obviously been dominating everything over the last couple of months. But they do it. Now they've got to go through Reciprocity. And this has been an interesting event from the standpoint that since Black Ops 3, I think we've talked a lot about the growth of the European teams, the growth of European players popping up, teams making runs, but this year has been extremely disappointing. Red Reserve falling apart with all the high hopes early in the game. They were considered like a top 4 team. That didn't pan out. And there hasn't been like that big run outside of Reciprocity's top 3 finish, but now you had what? 2 European teams in the open final. You've got the members on FaZe. You've got the members on Reciprocity. It feels like finally here's that chance for a European team to make some noise.
Yeah, I think we saw in the open final some of the stars we used to have in the Pro League, guys like Bance, guys like Quicker, Shawnee, all represented. You know, you had veterans like Josh, but yeah, I think, you know, they know that Reciprocity wants to turn up for Europe, you know, show a lot of support to their region.
I know you've talked about it, the desk has talked about it, but 2 of the players we have to highlight for our key player matchup has got to be Dylan and Envoy. These 2 superstar SOGs. As good as Envoy has been, Dylan has been better. We've talked about Dylan, a lot of times his impact on the map, he leads in engagements. He leads in score per minute, but the KD hasn't always been there and hasn't always needed to. Now you've combined the 2. The guy's been Hulk this weekend.
Well, I think it was, you know, a stat that was tweeted out by JP. It was like when he goes in, it's like 35% of the time he's getting a multi-kill. Like, it's more than 1 as well. Like, what that does for you on the map when a third of his engagements he's finding 2 kills, that just makes it so much easier for everyone else. The question will just be, if he doesn't put up a performance like that, what happens? Who steps up for Reciprocity?
I'm glad you saw that stat because I think you and I, whenever we cast him, we always point that out. Yeah. But I never knew what the stat was. That's insane. It's a third nuts. Of the time. Wild stuff from Dylan, but to combat him on the other side, it won't just be Envoy. Havoc will be a big piece of that as well. These guys obviously have Championship Sunday experience as recent as Anaheim, but can they put it together? Can they put it through for the win? But it's scary, you think about this first test, but you're in the loser side. There's so much work left to do this weekend. But a lot of Sundays we have what? We play out the top 6. Today we're playing out the top 4, so one less match maybe for some of these teams. Does that play into things at all?
Well, I think so, right? And obviously that open final goes to best of 5, so they have a little bit more time to warm up, get their heads focused. Obviously they're still in the venue a little bit earlier, but you're not really using all of that energy.
Well, what do you think happens there? So they think they're about to play. We saw the boys go up 2-1. You think they're probably going to play in a half an hour. Then suddenly they have another hour and a half. What do you do with that time?
I mean, you just try to focus up, keep warming up, maybe watch some of the matches, right? Just try to keep your mind off things until you get on that main stage. I believe we're going to have a bit of a restart here. Sorry.
We'll get into it shortly, but I know the fans are primed, ready for a huge championship Sunday. This is what the first $1 million tournament we've had outside of a champs, which is insane to think about. But 1.25 mil here, I think, 2 million a month away. It's money season. These guys know it. And what a time for Gen.G to really step it up with their best results they've had all year.
Yeah, but here's the thing for Gen.G. With what we saw last night, their winning formula, 2 search and destroys and a control. I just don't know if that's going to lead them into a championship. You have to be able to win a couple of hard points, even if it's one in a series. Because you look at the guys in the winners finals, E United and FaZe. E United, the team that drops them to the lower bracket. They're strong search and destroy teams. You can't always guarantee you're going to win both.
But are you kind of surprised to see that, considering when Envoy joined this team, their hard point is where they were really good. Remember, that's what got a lot better, and their search fell off a bit.
Am I surprised to see it? No, because I just think when you look at those top hard point teams, it just comes down to the talent that they have. It's filled with superstars, and yeah, Mox finally steps up maybe last night, but it's not in the hard point. So for Gen.G, for me, if they want to win this tournament, their hard point has to step up today.
And they're going up against Rec, who's been 4-1 in hard points so far this weekend. So it's not going to get easy right out the gates, but at least if you're Gen.G, you get one of the stronger hard points that you have in the game, Seaside. And you got to think, Envoy, Havoc, Dylan, this is where those guys have a chance to really take over the map.
Well, you talk about Havoc and Envoy. This is when I personally look at Zed, right? Who is that other Saw counterpart with Dylan? He has to have a good series. He's the X factor for Reciprocity.
Are you ready, Miami? All right. Championship Sunday for the CWL Pro League Finals begins now. Reciprocity, Gen.G, fighting for a spot in that loser's bracket final and a top 3 finish and a massive payday. We kick it off with Seaside. Of course, we've got to start with Dylan and the sensation that he has been. Can he get going early will be the question. He's going to get shut down, but Reciprocity will be inside of the hard point as Wuskin and Zed looking to lock down mid in the central steps.
A nice start so far for Reciprocity. Dens was able to find 3 kills off that break with the ICR, and you can already see number 1, that's Nagafin trying to work the pinch a little bit, but Den's off the spawn. He's going to cut it down. They were trying to set up the pinch, but 3 go down. A perfect start for Reciprocity. The Sogs are on point right now, and well, Gen.G, they know they have to rotate. There's only 10 seconds left, and Dens is ready for him.
And this is, it's a big moment for Dens too, considering, he's put on the bench, has to come back in, huge shoes to fill when someone like Tommy, one of the greatest Call of Duty players in Europe all time, takes a seat. What kind of performance can Dens have throughout this championship Sunday? As he's already started out 6-2. You gotta love that from him.
And I mean, he's been in these moments before, right? He's a veteran, has so much experience under his belt.
Well, he watched Mind Freak get knocked out and not get a chance at all his former teammates. Like, all right, I'm the only guy. I'm the lone man from the APAC region that maybe has a chance to get something done. But look at the top middle of the screen. Look at that scoreline. It is 60-1. Gen.G getting thumped out the gates as the crowd gives some love to the Reciprocity side.
And you're seeing Reciprocity as well running 3 SOGs. You have a 3rd SOG on Alex, so they're just putting so much pressure on. But they're running an ICR the entire time. Typically, we don't see that. Sometimes we see an ICR on the first hill to help open up those outer lanes. But it's a different combination that we're seeing from Reciprocity, and we'll see if Gen.G has to make any adjustments throughout this game. As Wuskin, he's jumping off. He wants to get a closer spawn near his teammates. It's a little bit closer.
Not much. He spawns out near the first hard point. But if you're Gen.G, you've got 6 points. You need to get it back at Statue, and this is exactly where you can get right back in the game. Perhaps the easiest hard point to control, especially when score streaks and specialists don't come into play. Mox will get set up in the back with the ICR playing this anchor position. His teammates will have to deal with the storm coming from mid-map in checkers. One player did burst on through. That's going to be Zed, but he'll get traded out. So Reciprocity may make it messy for a moment, but Gen.G able to hold that first push.
They're trying to lock this down, get themselves back into the game. Nagafin once again just trying to work a pinch. A slow start from Nagafin, but it feels like maybe the SOG's starting to heat on up. Envoy, he's on 2 in a row.
And I think you nailed it. Like, Nagafin has had some games like this, but they've still been able to pull out wins at times. But you can't have Envoy do it too. Envoy does it too. You're in a world of trouble. He was, what, 2-8 at one point, now up to 5-9, but Envoy's got to be great, or Havoc. Maybe he can just carry the load, as that's a lovely double from him. 13-8 out of Havoc as he's carrying the SOG side of this matchup for Gen.G. What was once a blowout, now down to a 20-point advantage for Reciprocity. As Gen.G looking to chain together Statue and Barrels. So far, so good, but 2 are going to drop as Zed finds the entries.
And this has been one of the stories for Reciprocity. They play with so much energy. They bring so much passion to the stage. And out of the gates, they come out hot, right? They get to these big leads, but then you can see what happens if they lose a rotation. It gets a little bit messy.
And Mox was very close to streaks. I think he was like 20 points off, and there they are. He's able to get the 5th kill in a row. So the comeback alive, the lead change to Gen.G. The streaks in Mox's pocket as they have woken up. Gen.G, bring it back. No blowout here for the Reciprocity end of things. Now Havoc has got his grab slam, his grapple, his SOG as he laser stins in the dark alley.
He's got another one-on-one as well. Wuskin, I think, stuns himself. That's going to be a freebie for Havoc. His onslaught continues. Dylan, though, he's going to slow things down as he finds 2 kills on this rotation. And a big set of kills. I think Reciprocity needs to sort of slow this game down a bit. But Mox, as you said, has these streaks, not opting to use it just yet. Now going to call in and ping that lightning.
Gets called in. What does it tag? Looks like it comes up empty, and 3 of his teammates are going to drop. It's all going to be to Havoc and Mox to try and make the play. Havoc with a grab slam. Well, he pounds the steps, but unfortunately for him, no player's going to drop. So you use a streak, you use a grab slam, you get next to nothing. You have a close spawn, so you're able to try and get and contest quickly, but it doesn't play out how you'd like it to.
Yeah, nice play so far from Reciprocity to answer that call, because that could have been a scary moment where the lead gets pretty large for Gen.G. Now on this rotation, a Courtyard, Envoy, Nagafin, they find a couple of big rotation kills.
And if you're Reciprocity, you need to get a pretty solid hold here, because you'll be in trouble at Statue considering Mox still has that Hellstorm to use. So in a perfect world, you get some time here and maybe win the rotation to force the streak out early, but it's all a Gen.G in the hard point right now. Nagafin has picked it up massively. What was he, 1-10, now to 8-14, so 7-4.
Oh, that's a stick.
That point, as Mox and Major Maniac hold on to the cluster grenade. 5 are gonna drop. Reciprocity with the break, the back spawn, they force him into Gen.G. That's exactly what you needed if you're Reciprocity, to the book.
Yeah, now we'll see if Mox is gonna go for it. They have a bit of a trap. Wuskin, he's gonna find 2. Wuskin's gonna find 3. The triple comes on in. But yes, Gen.G, they're gonna spawn towards the other side of the map. So Reciprocity gonna get this time, but I don't know if they're gonna expect all 5 players to be here from Gen.G.
I thought they
Zed
were still
working on some streaks.
I thought they were still gonna spawn in the back.
There was just so much presence there from Reciprocity. Maybe a bit unlucky, but we'll see if Zed can close out on the streak. Zed's the guy I wanted to see step up, and he's done it so far. 19-12 from him. Here's that one-on-one. Can he secure these streaks? He's gonna leave him. Major Maniac, he's inside of barrels.
Dylan with the entry. Zed hunting for the streaks. War Machine out from Envoy. As Zed still looks for a freebie. Dylan with that flak jacket soaks up one of the grenades. Now here we go. Here we go. Up high, it slams in. 2 are gonna drop. 3 are now down. It's on to Mox and Major Maniac to hold, but so far they've done it. They've gotten 2 kills from the back. They hold the back spawns, and Gen.G somehow get it done.
Zed can't go. Right, Zed's looking for some kills, but Alex is able to find 3. The back spawns, though, still in for Gen.G. Can Zed find a kill? There we go. Plays it so patient. Can't find the second. At least you disrupt some time. You're able to get them off the hill, but Havoc with a triple of his own. But you at least get 1. Now you're going to see Mox with the Vision Pulse pop. They want to win this rotation into barrel.
What can they do behind the Vision? 4 is going to go down. Mox with a fantastic Vision Pulse use in transition. It works out brilliantly. You're spawning Reciprocity right where you want him at that first hard point. You don't give him a close spawn on either side of it. Due to the fact that you're pushed out checkers, you're pushed out to the backside of Church. It's brilliant in the opening here from Gen.G.
And the difference maker is you have a Purifier on the side of Reciprocity, and that's great if you can get inside the hill, but you need to get Dens there, because the Vision Pulse, you can see, will pay off no matter what. Will help you break your rotation, will help you, hold the hill, hold the setup. Behind that Vision Pulse, you've got Envoy with those streaks, and now close to a 50-point lead for Gen.G.
20 seconds remaining here as finally Reciprocity get in, at least for a moment. Wuskin can't win it. Dylan can't trade it. But he gets some help from Zed as that dynamic duo lock down the final seconds. But you still have 3 streaks on Gen.G. Just the 1 lightning from Zed. And that 1 lightning is going to get called. I thought for a second he was just pinging it, but there's the call. No kills, but they funnel them in, and it allows for the push to develop. Major Maniac, though, still here with a SOG in hand. 4 are going to drop for Reciprocity. The 5th is there, and Dylan, and he is down as well. And spawning out in no man's land is Reciprocity as they're trying to track across the map.
Yeah, you might even call it another streak. They are going to do that. It's going to be Envoy just to stop this push, using that lightning strike, maybe buying them some extra time, trying to get as close as they can to winning this map number 1. Tac 5 is in for Wreck. Zed, Dylan finds 2. That's what he does so best. And then Alex is there with that 3rd SOG. That's what we were talking about. Havoc trying to do the best he can. And you can see Gen.G. They're all going to spawn up towards barrel side. Can Wuskin and Alex try to hold this rotation? So much work to do. He does have the Tempest. The stun is there. Can't find the second. His teammate takes him down.
Oh, and he can't get the trade. So that works out horribly. Gen.G is here. You take a look at the minimap. They got 3 players around it. The Tempest, though, going to provide you nothing. Nagavin's going to get pushed out from Dylan, but the rest of the kills go the way of Gen.G. So the madness and the scramble halts for a moment as the Reciprocity players try to wrap back in. Envoy's going to use a Hellstorm from this spot. Does it locate anything? It's going to come up empty, but Gen.G still in the hard point. 20 more points needed. The grapple through for Dylan. Dylan with 1 entry, and Wuskin now with a Tempest in the back line. It looks like it might be the break. That shot's gonna connect. Alex gonna go big as well. You had to get in if you're a Reciprocity, and you were able to do that. But now, somehow, exactly, you've got to flip this. This is the big moment. You got to push this out, fight for spawns, and the comeback dream is alive for Wreck.
Yeah, they're able to spawn a couple out. Gen.G, it's going to be a 4-on-3 towards this side of the map. Major Maniac is going to dip to the back, and they hold this backstage area.
This is everything. This is everything. Gen.G so far, it looks like they've done it. Great shots from Envoy. 1 player's left inside. That's going to be the number 7 in Wuskin. Wuskin's weak. Wuskin's tagged. Wuskin is dead. Now you've got the hard point control, Joe. You have the Grav Slam. You have the War Machine. You've got everything to use to close this game out. Reciprocity, it doesn't feel like they've got a prayer as the Grav Slam comes in. 4 are going to drop for Wreck. The final seconds tick through, and Gen.G up 1-0.
It was a hot start for Reciprocity. It's what we've seen time and time again, but Mox, he goes huge on that Fountain Hill. He's able to find some streaks. A nice Vision Pulse leads to a great break inside of barrels. I will say, but if we pulled up the box score, that number 3 hill would probably be Gen.G by almost 100 points.
Do you feel that Reciprocity maybe slowed down a bit, or is it just Gen.G turning up?
I don't even I thought they played fine. I thought Reciprocity played fine, but I thought on a couple of the key rotations inside of barrels and towards Fountain, they just lost the rotation. You saw what happened. And really, you look at rotation number 2, when Reciprocity, you saw them all push the 5 towards the back when that flip comes in. I don't know if they were just a little bit too aggressive. That was an opportunity for Recta to get that 3rd hill.
And then the final moment's so difficult for Reciprocity because you're down nearly 50 points. You have to get the break here and win the rotation across the map to the back statue. The problem is you've got no specialists left to use, and on the other side of it, you've got War Machine, you've got Grab Slam.
Yeah, so
this was it right here. This is it. This is the skirmish.
I was just told it was 89-8 on that 3rd hill. That's the difference maker. Maybe if Reciprocity can split that, cut that in half, they could win this map. And you even saw this is where Mox starts to go on that spree, earn those streaks. That was just such a momentum for Gen.G.
We talk a lot about that statue hardpoint, because it is usually where the lopsided difference can come, the swings can come from, the comebacks, and a lot of times it is that chain kind of from courtyard into statue, where a team can go on a massive run and chain together, 90, 100 points. And that's exactly what Gen.G were able to do in the mid game. As they take the map 1, and that is only the 2nd loss of hardpoint for Reciprocity this weekend. And there's that stat you were talking about, Fountain, so dominant from Gen.G.
I mean, even hill, the barrels, right? That's where we saw the Vision Pulse used. Reciprocity did great on the 1st hill. Garden, talk about courtyard, that's where Gen.G split some time, but it was 3 and 4 for Gen.G.
Well, a lot of times I feel like it's 2 to 3 because that's like a more natural transition.
Yeah.
On the side, you can pin them in the back, you can stretch over. For barrels, I feel like that shouldn't really happen. If you're holding statue, that whole right side of the map is going to go to the other team. So was it just Reciprocity getting late breaks at unfortunate times that set them up for barrels?
Yeah, I think so. Also, they would go for the rotation, but Gen.G was just winning the gunfights. I think on the 1st rotation, that's when Envoy really started to heat up. He found 3 or 4 kills inside. The 2nd time, that's when you saw the Vision Pulse used, right? Like, Dens doesn't use his Purifier. He's not inside the hill. He can't stop the push. So Mox is there with the Vision Pulse. You're going to have the advantage on that rotation. And yeah, I mean, 3 and 4, all Gen.G.
Yeah, I forgot about the Vision Pulse. That actually was probably one of the biggest moments in the game because that's where you get that massive time disparity between 3 and 4. So incredible play from Mox and his teammates to locate the kills. We've talked about how lopsided this matchup felt through the first 3 maps. They are very good for Gen.G, and you saw exactly why they're in map 1. Now for Search and Destroy. Can we get some heroics from Reciprocity? They fought them tough in map 1. But you just cannot go down 2-0 in this best of 5.
Yeah, if there's any sign, it's that they're 3-0 on Gridlock Search and Destroy this weekend is Reciprocity. So this has been a solid map for them all weekend long. But as I was saying before the match began, you know that if you're Gen.G, you're going back, doing your homework. How can you counter these guys? Change up maybe a couple strategies, a couple setups to catch Reciprocity off guard.
Well, the players will be talking through those strategies now as we get locked and loaded for the Search and Destroy. A tough road ahead of Reciprocity, and just a reminder to those maybe tuning in, this is our losers bracket match. So winner of this will take on the loser of that winner's bracket final, which is FaZe and United after this. A refresher on how this best of 5 has played out. Just 1 map in. Massive lead for Reciprocity early. Gen.G though, hit the afterburners and dominate throughout the rest of the game. And this is where, it was what, Reciprocity closed out the series game 5 against Luminosity last night. Remember Zed with the 4 kills in round...
He finished with what, 14?
Round 9 or 10. Yeah, he had a absolutely incredible game. His clusters inside of showers were a thing of perfection. So yeah, the last search you played if you're Reciprocity is a huge win right here on this map. But to the other side of that coin, like you said, you have that to watch if you're Gen.G. Map 2.
Some early pressure here from Gen.G. You have 1 guy, that's going to be Havoc behind the tree. We know how that position is. You typically only get 1 and then you're stuck. Mox, he gets traded by Den, so 4 versus 4, but look at Nagafin working up that flank. But this might be perfect for Reciprocity. They're just going to go right through the middle towards Ice Cream. But Nagafin's here, and I don't know if they're going to expect him to be in this position. He can just look down the street and see the bomb planter, but that's not going to happen right now. He's just playing his life.
And you're gonna have a late flank for that number 4 on the map, Dins as well. Once he opts to get into the action, 3 versus 3, nice shots from Major Maniac, gives them the edge. On Alex and Dinge now, on the Reciprocity side, to get this clutch. Alex is getting pushed, Alex wins his one-on-one, Dinge in with the help, 1 versus 1, 24 seconds on the clock. Dins, Havoc.
Havoc's pushing him, and he just gets around the corner, and now Havoc knows he has to make a decision. Am I gonna try to defuse this bomb? Am I gonna try to get the kill? But Dens spots him, plays his 1v1 perfectly. Dens and Alex clutch up for Reciprocity.
Ooh, I'll tell you what, Havoc has anything but a SOG in his hand there. He might be able to catch that kill before he gets away.
Yeah, and that one-on-one that Alex was able to win around that pillar, that was the difference maker, because that buys time for Dens to get into 18, trade that kill as Major Maniac comes flying in.
The best play for Major Maniac as he peeks outside of yellow and takes 2 with him. But unfortunately for Gen.G, not quite enough to get the round win, as Reciprocity will strike first. Nice play from Dens to get out of harm's way and make sure they secure that round. Gen.G, their turn on the offensive end. Looks like Dylan wants to get very aggressive. I thought he was just gonna fly, but gets information that they're gonna be coming. So Dylan able to back with his life. Wuskin might get caught. That's a fantastic nade in for Major Maniac. Major Maniac and Envoy, the openings and the edge. 4 versus 3 for Gen.G. Zed's gonna get smoked in ice cream as well. Massive advantage to Gen.G, but can Alex bring it back? It's Alex and Dids again.
Yeah, Alex gets some bad timing there. Now a 1v3. Envoy with the SOG. He's gonna win that one most of the time, but yeah, I think the nade was huge onto Dylan, because Wuskin is playing that position behind the truck and knowing he's gonna get 1 kill, they're just gonna fly at him around those corners. If Dylan can watch one side with them, maybe they have a chance to really flip that round, but the nade just cuts him off.
Yeah, I just think it looked like they just tried to play it aggressively. Like, a lot of times from that site, you'll see like 1 spotter, but they try to play it aggressive behind Dylan. As soon as he goes to sprint out, he sees there's 3 or 4 coming, and they get caught, but yeah, the nade, as you said, huge. Envoy, I think, ends up with 3 in that round.
They're gonna have their actually.
1-1. Right to A goes Reciprocity again. Last time they had to wrap it out. That looks to be the play call yet again.
Try and catch Nagafin. Wuskin's gonna spot him. Naga's just gonna run away, play his life, play the 5 versus 5. Similar to Nagafin, what we saw on the offense was Den sort of playing on an island, watching the push through towards A. So both players doing similar things, just in opposite positions. Dylan, though, able to find the first blood. Envoy with the cluster. I thought he was gonna put it on the bomb, decides not to. Trades going down back and forth, but Wuskin, the difference maker, is he's able to find 2 kills.
Havoc and Mox, 2 versus 4. Havoc, I thought he was about to get caught when we were over to Zed's POV, but Havoc somehow comes out of it, but Din's fantastic shots from mid-map to take that and put Havoc by himself in a 1 versus 3. They're still gonna get bomb planted though.
Yeah, they haven't planted yet.
Can he catch the timing? He gets it, can he get away? Not able to slide across. Wuskin with 3 in the round in a big one there to make sure Havoc couldn't make it more interesting.
Right, it's always so tough, because yes, you have Dens who's watching top middle. He can watch the ice cream push, but for Wuskin, they're afraid to plant this bomb because he can come back alley, he can go top window. There's all these opportunities where he can kill the bomb planter and maybe get away with his life, and almost does it.
I think that POV at the end showed it perfectly. How many different spots you've got to worry about with that bomb. Wuskin, who I think coming into this, like, he has not had the best weekend from a statistics standpoint. I think it was around a 0.8, yeah, something like that. His time to shine maybe on Sunday. Cluster out from Zed. Does some damage, but Flak Jacket on the other end will keep him up. It's Mox with the first blood though. Advantage Gen.G. Can Dylan and Zed get aggressive together? They're gonna push out Zed, so the pressure's gonna fall to Dylan. He's got Alex watching him in the back with that ICR. Havoc's gonna get right across and just go for the bomb plant. They know they have the numbers.
They just go. They try to catch the bomb planter. Dylan almost finds a second. All on the Weskin now. The numbers too strong for Gen.G. But yeah, I mean, Reciprocity is just playing that stack inside of showers around the mirrors area. You're hoping Zed and Alex can combo, you know, the cluster, or when they're pushing on into a couple of kills with an ICR wall bang or whatever it may be to change the tides, but not able to do so.
You always mention how important that spot is kind of between the mirrors. Once they slid in and got control of that, it felt like it was just too much for Reciprocity to deal with. Bit of a different offensive look from Reciprocity. This time is, I mean, it's been what, all A pressure and then rotations out. Now they're going right up mid.
Yeah, and we've seen this. You're trying to catch the player inside of Ice Cream. They're able to do so. It is a trade. Envoy
he gets a kill.
Finds his one. Yep, does his job.
Nagafin had the incredibly slow start in map 1, but turned things up magnificently. May need to do the same here as he's at 0-4, but that'll be a bomb plant now for Reciprocity. A one-on-one on the other end. Havoc's able to take that. So numbers to Gen.G, but Havoc's still a bit of a march to get into the action. That number 5 is going to be Dylan. It's going to pick it up. He's going to get caught. Havoc's the one making the play. 4-2 for Gen.G. But this is still winnable if you're Reciprocity, just because the time on the clock and the fact you have an ICR set up in the back, and then Allison wants to get bind for 2, but he can't take down Major Maniac. The 2 kills come in. Gen.G with back-to-back rounds. They now take over in this search and destroy.
Yeah, it's an interesting play call. Obviously on offense, Denz has been playing that island role so well, but I feel like when you get the bomb planted in a 4 versus 4 and it's safe, because you have an extra ICR, I think you can just back up and play it from the 18, right? Even if you have a third guy there with you, Havoc, it's so hard for him to push that flank, and then Dylan tries to reflank. So what Dylan's thinking as he pushes top middle is, okay, Havoc's gonna back up to Ice Cream. They're gonna try to push us out. I'm gonna try to find an opening.
And who have you and I complimented so much with these type of reads in Search recently? It's been Havoc. Yeah. I mean, just the times we've seen him by himself playing that island role, the fact that he's able to take those one-on-ones consistently, hell, the fact he gets 2 there is just incredible. But the kid's got a mind for search and destroy, and we've seen it over the years. No defensive presence at B right now for Reciprocity, so it's a wide open bomb site for Gen.G to get to. Envoy's just backing it up towards their spawn, likely gonna have a one-on-one with Dylan momentarily.
Yeah, and that could be the difference maker in this round. But the problem is because Dylan doesn't catch him off guard, he's gonna spot all the information. He's in a tough spot, gets taken down. They just play numbers. Now, how do you retake this if you're Reciprocity? It's so hard to push this 18 area.
You've already got 15 seconds on the clock. Havoc jumps right in between a mess of players. Damage into 2, but doesn't finish either, so it'll be a 4 versus 4. But the clock, the issue right now. Then Envoy with the reflank. 2 in front of him. Laser beams for Envoy, now 2 versus 2. 12 seconds on the clock. Envoy gonna be the last man up.
I don't think they can get on it.
Not gonna get on it in time.
No, too late.
Hops on it a little too late. We'll hop right off of it. Envoy's 2. The key difference in that round is he pushes out to, what was that, 10-3 from Envoy?
Yeah, remember who we were talking about as well for Reciprocity last night? It was Zed, and I think in this round, he does find a kill, but he only has 1 going into this round. So a key playmaker for them, and maybe the reason is because he's always around that showers area time and time again, but really most of the action has been on this street. It's so tough for him to make plays with that cluster in the SOG.
Yeah, it's just one long lane.
Yeah, right? What are you supposed to do?
Especially when you're trying to retake it. So Zed needs to step it up on the other end. Nagafin's been the guy with the slow start for Gen.G.
Right, and that's really been the story, right? That's why when the substitution came in for Spacely, we got it, because in these moments at times.
But when did he step it up last night? Map 5 with that huge 1v2. Here goes Reciprocity, but look at mid-map. Look at mid-map. There's 3 players pushing all the way through from Gen.G. Weskin is going to be flanking that side. Does he find an easy pick? He is going to find it. The first blood to Reciprocity. Over to Envoy, 1 with him before he drops. Now, quickly, a 3 versus 3. And you're pretty spread if you're Gen.G. You've got Havoc at mid-map and 2 towards back tree and garden. They're gonna isolate Mox. You gotta love that push out. You pick a side, you go. That's exactly what they do. They flood it in. Havoc now in a tough spot in a 1 versus 2. The Pika challenge, they almost line up. He's able to heal now with 25 seconds. Can Havoc pull off the 1 versus 3?
He knows Zed has to check the bomb defuse.
He read it, but he gets gone! Zed smokes him! The perfect read from Havoc, but he can't take the gunfight!
Got a little scary there for Reciprocity. As you said, they almost line up for him. But yes, the quick decisions from Reciprocity. They know that Havoc is on the flank, so they push the 3 versus 2 out. They're able to catch Nagafin and Mox watching their side.
I thought Havoc had that one, but he read it perfectly. Still round advantage to Gen.G. Nice stun onto Alex. He's got no tack, so he's out of the game for 10 seconds. That'll allow Gen.G to push up and get a bomb plant in. Havoc spots the entire world in front of him, calls out to his teammates, and Envoy able to get that first blood. 2 down now for Reciprocity. Getting picked apart, Dylan will be traded. Havoc makes the play yet again. A nice wall bang from Dens, but now it's Wuskin alone in a 1 versus 2. And Envoy
again.
He's had what feels like 3 rounds now where he's come up with 3 kills at least.
It just comes down to that first blood time and time again, and we saw Havoc playing in between those mirrors near that area, and it's just so tough for the defensive team to push on up if you don't have control. The heal comes in and he pushes it. He knows Wuskin has the pistol.
And I remember they, I think it was in the Pro League crossplay where Reciprocity struggled here a bit, and I talked to Wuskin afterwards, and he was really frustrated because their communication was so poor. He's like, I'd be calling to go in first with the pistol because I'm the bait. Players wouldn't be listening to me. Like, he was really pissed off about this particular map. You seeing some issues like that right now for Reciprocity?
I mean, you would like for him to be the one in, but maybe they see something. Wuskin, though, also got drilled down. We saw that when we hopped onto a player with the ICR inside a shower, so he probably has to reheal. They don't want to take too much time. They're rotating back to A now. Mox is just playing for information. He's going to spot that, and, well, he's out.
What a map from Envoy. 14-4. Can he get any more as they look to close this out? He's got War Machine and Search and Destroy, which isn't all that frequent. His teammate drops in front of him. He's tagged up, but still up, and he makes the call. Now. Wants to go for the War Machine, and they're all in front of him. 3 are gonna drop, 1 more in the corner. That's the direct hit, and Wuskin left alone. Envoy 16-4, quadruple positive on a 5 spree as Havoc knocks the lights out, and Gen.G go up 2-0.
And we've talked about that, even as casters, how just because the way S&D has changed, we're not always on top of specialists, and it felt like Reciprocity there. You have to realize when a player is going to have the War Machine or could have it within a round. They don't have flak on. It kills a couple of people. It changes the tide of that round.
Envoy with a superstar performance so far in this best of 5. We knew the first 3 maps favored Gen.G in a big way, and so far they are dominating. Reciprocity, to stay alive, have got to win the next one.
The Call of Duty World League is brought to you by TCL, America's fastest growing TV brand. And Scuff Gaming, the official controller of the CWL.
Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. Level up the game.
Welcome back to the CWL Miami Finals. I was hoping for a back and forth 5-game series madness like we've had all weekend long. So far, it's not been that. Gen.G are controlling it.
I mean, this is what we talked about, though, right? The first 3 maps were just so strong for Gen.G throughout this year, and you're seeing why. I mean, they're all making individual plays. Their Sogs are stepping up, Envoy and Havoc. They continue.
And to be fair, like this isn't, so don't take this as like a knock to Reciprocity or to Shane or how this veto went. Like these are good maps for Reciprocity too. They've just been very, very good for Gen.G. And sometimes that's a decision you have to make. Like, do you focus on the strengths or weaknesses of yourself, the opposition? The veto process is tough, I'm sure.
Oh, it absolutely is. It's something that, you know, these guys are always trying to work towards.
And one thing before we hop into this, everybody, we've got a massive giveaway going down. It's the Totino's CWL Champs Trip giveaway. All of you in attendance, all of you at home can enter. Just go to mlg.com/Totino's giveaway. 1 grand prize winner and a guest will win round trip airfare, hotel, and more. That more includes dinner with Joe DeLuca at Champs. And yeah, I'm on the screen, so you can see I'm literally reading that off my phone. If
Wait,
you thought I was smart enough to
with me?
recite that, yeah, no, they get dinner with you.
Is that true?
Yes.
You coming too?
Sure.
It'll be on that person. They'll buy it for us,
Okay,
right?
that works, that works. I noticed that was on the cameras. I was sitting there reading my phone.
Oh, me too, yeah.
Map 3, Reciprocity's tournament lives, their tournament hopes rest here on Frequency.
And well, a very strong start for Gen.G as they find 3 kills. And well, what would you know? It's behind Havoc and Envoy. That's going to be Zone A complete. But Reciprocity, they're getting pushed up.
That was quick. This is the map where you can see some very, very fast rounds. At number 7, Washington is trying to spawn kill, but 3 come off spawn. He'll take 1 with them before he drops. 3 will go down for Reciprocity, an opening to get on to the next point. We could have a 60-second round here if this next wave gets shut down. A fantastic stun through from Major Maniac. They combo with a cluster. That's teamwork at its finest.
Yeah, beautiful teamwork out of Gen.G, and you have Mox locking down top middle with that ICR. How do you get in if you're Reciprocity? They just might not. This might be a very fast round. Denz is going to try to fly. Dylan as well. Mox, he's going to earn a lightning strike. The contest is here, though. Can Reciprocity stay alive? It's on to Alex. It's on to Denz in a 1 versus 1 against Envoy, and Denz is able to win it.
I tell you what, he gets the full health there. I think Envoy clutches them first round right there, but they've still kept it so close to being completed. In comes the next swarm, 1 more contest in, as Reciprocity desperately trying to keep somebody inside of this objective and back it up as much as they can. That grenade's gonna be a lovely tool to at least slow it down for now, and that objective that was nearly complete, almost back to where it started after the second point. As quick as I say that, though, they get right back in. They start to ramp up the objective yet again, and there goes the first round. It starts with that sensational opening from Gen.G.
And that's just a transition over. You see what Reciprocity does. They're trying to get in the base of Gen.G, but Havoc snuck his way through, was able to find Denz. Then they just collapse on the point. They force Reciprocity into a very tough situation. They deal with Luskin in their base, and then we saw it. The stun, the cluster just gave them so much time on the point. Even if Reciprocity clutch up again to stop that zone, they're still out 7 or 8 lives.
Is Gen.G simply too good for this rec team?
It's looking like it. And I think that a lot of the strengths for Reciprocity come down to their speed, to Dylan, but this is what I was talking about. What happens when Dylan doesn't have a 1.6 throughout a series? You're starting to see it here.
Well, this is one of the toughest matchups you're going to face from a soft position.
Yep.
That's where Gen.G are at their best. Reciprocity almost able to replicate the opening that you saw out of Gen.G, so they'll get 4 down, only losing 1 player in the process, and this could be a very quick A capture. Alex gonna have 2 in front. They line up for him, a team kill through, and he burns the next one. Whoa, Alex heating up.
And I like what you're seeing out of both teams. You had Major Maniac run that 3rd SOG. Alex is doing it here. We saw it a bit from Reciprocity on Seaside Hardpoint. You didn't see it out of Gen.G, but right here, Gen.G are matching with Major Maniac.
Reciprocity now just need 1 more point, and they have that 5 life advantage. Nice cluster from Zed. We'll send Mox back to spawn. And look where Reciprocity is in the map right now. They have 2 at this elbow, but it looks like they might have been worried about some kind of pressure through mid from Gen.G as they're trying to clear out everything and clear out elevator. It looks like they're trying to set up a big pinch.
Or are they? Dylan just can't finish a kill. There's a couple of players low ladder weak. That's going to allow what's going to get in. Dens, the nice hip fire from that ICR, able to snap onto him. Now they're on this point.
Team kill for Gen.G. Massive life advantage for Reciprocity. Gen.G doing everything they can to keep it interesting, but it's going to be Major Maniac with a load of players in front of him, and he's not able to take one down with them. Nagafin almost with a triple, but the big thing here is through all of this action over the last 45 to 60 seconds, that life advantage hasn't changed.
As I say, and even for Reciprocity, because you've been on the point, you've slowed down the clock, so now you can play around the base of Gen.G, maybe try to get a couple of spawn kills in. But it looks like Gen.G knows that. They're trying to play for positioning, top middle, trying to play for map positioning. Den's in a tough spot, will have some help. Here comes a pinch from Dylan top mid. That's taken care of, and while that's all going on, you have some pressure here on the point, but it's Envoy again who finds 2.
I said the life advantage had stayed pretty healthy. It was, what, 7, I think, when I said that. They've taken it now down to 4. You've got a chance if you're Gen.G. Still so much time to work with, and it's Zed going on a big flank. Does Zed get caught? That's a huge one from Nagafin. Now, Envoy in the mix as well, from 7 down to 2. 8 versus 10. Gen.G are bringing this back. You still have Tac 5 on Havoc. He's going to soar in, but there's too many players to work with, and those 2 kills crucial for Reciprocity.
Yeah, I think what Havoc is hoping for is that a teammate gets a bullet in. He can just, mantle in, hit the melee, and then start that. Here comes a push. Cluster in, able to connect. Plus, you have Dens in the spawn for a bit of a spawn kill, but Envoy, of course, wins the one-on-one.
The last
I think
push.
they've done it. I think they've done enough. And only 3 remaining.
Last 2 players go down, and Reciprocity answer back. They got a little bit tight there. Got down to, what, 8 versus 10, like a 2 life difference there for just a moment. Gen.G, I mean, great chance to take that round if the deficit doesn't get up to 7 or 8 lives early in the round.
Yeah, right. Really just off the story of this game so far has been the start of the 2 rounds. Both have done exactly what they've wanted, where you have a perfect elevator push. That's where you have that 5 life advantage. You can play around kills. You have that time extension, and they're getting onto the B point.
And a lot of times when we see clutches here from like a man down scenario, it's when the less players are on offense, because you can get you can be in, let's say, a 6v12, you get 1 big break, you can close it out, but from defense, it's just, it's so hard.
Yeah, you're hoping they take too much time,
Yeah.
right? Just time away.
Tac 5 in for Reciprocity. Alex, 200 points off streaks, and all of his points are right there in front of him. Damage into everybody. Nice shots onto Havoc. 4 are going to go down.
He can use this right away.
All about the breaks.
Yep, he's going to use it right away. He's going to try to catch a spawn kills. Nagafin just gets in. Able to connect 1 on the Major Maniac. And again, it's been the breakoffs, and yeah, already a 7 kill, almost 8 kill advantage.
This is beautiful from Reciprocity, and you still have the lightning from Alex. You know where they're all at. Look how pushed up the map you are if you're Reciprocity. You just can't have a big blunder from this spot. You got to keep them locked in. 4 are going to push down to the elbow. That's going to be the call for the lightning. You know where everybody is. You've got eyes from Zed with the War Machine. They're able to push through that, though, and he only takes one with him. Alex will hit the flank at the same time, and you've still got Wuskin from top middle. Lovely job there from Wuskin to at least take one down before he drops. And yeah, you sort of get out of the trap, but at what cost? You're down 11 lives.
Alex has done a wonderful job staying alive in this spot. Him and Dens have had a couple of players locked in the spawn, and you hear that tick, the clock against Gen.G. Are they going to be able to even extend this round? Like you said, there's always a chance for the offensive teams, just because how quick of a transition it is from A to B.
Yeah, as wild as it sounds, you're not technically out of it here. If you could just win these key gunfights and get near the point, but they're not even going to get there. Fantastic job from Rec. They chain back-to-back rounds. They get it done on offense. They get it done on defense. And quite literally, all of these rounds come down to the first 15 to 20 seconds. You expect at some point there's going to be a nice rally back, some sort of back and forth battle.
Well, and
but the openings have been so clean.
It was a great read in this round 3 from Reciprocity because, I mean, both teams have had success at Elevator, at the A point right away. And you're probably thinking if Gen.G knows that, they're just going to go right back to it. But Reciprocity send 3 top middle, 1A, 1B. And as soon as they see something towards that B side, they just, well, collapse on them through bottom ladders. It was an easy trap, and that's when Alex was able to get those streaks.
And he still has one of those key streaks. We'll see when that comes into the mix. Zed and Alex soaring forward. Dylan in a one-on-one on the other side towards Elevator. Just keep an eye on the minimap, see how that goes down. Dylan's able to take it. So now you've sort of won the fight on both fronts. You're going to have 2 ticks here at B. Well, it doesn't quite go through as a contest will come in. You nearly got there. Gen.G will clear right before the second bit of progress. But this whole time, A's been going up as well as Dylan made the play.
Yeah, but it's going up slow, but at least you've stalled the clock. Hit that Zen goal. You used a War Machine. Dylan with some nice shots. And, well, responds with the grab slam. So this should be A secured. As you can see, Gen.G doesn't want to throw any more lives at it. Zed getting aggressive. They're already back to this B side. Is this when you use a lightning strike? It is. They're going to try to catch Reciprocity inside the pipes. They're going to slow them down. Dylan now working on some streaks. He's 150 away.
They're all lining up. The double ICR there does so much damage. Lightning earned for Dylan. Lightning in from Dylan. Over the top goes the grab slam. Havoc able to get 2, but he gets killed by the lightning strike as soon as it finishes. But the final point is done. There's no 3-0 here for Gen.G as Reciprocity rip off 3 straight rounds in their tournament lives. Still going strong.
That's impressive.
Maybe not strong.
That's impressive, though, because you think all the momentum is against them. They're down 0-2. They lose the first round in the fashion that they did. I was like, uh-oh, here we go. This could be a very quick control, and it is a quick control just in their favor.
So those 3 strong maps for Gen.G. Reciprocity were able to get away with 1. And typically when you talk about a series and who has the edge in the vetoes, like who's the higher seed, which would be Gen.G, usually when the quote-unquote underdog has a better chance, the deeper you get into the series. You give them more of a shot to get to some of the maps. Like we get to their hard point now, a chance to make some noise. Can Reciprocity get this to a 5th map? I need it. That's
what they've been doing, just surviving. I mean, clutching up when they need to. They do it one more time on that frequency control. But as you said, still a lot of work to do for them. Have to win a hard point against Gen.G.
And that was their specialty. 4-1 before this series. 4-2 now after the map 1 loss. It's going to be Hacienda next. Thoughts about these 2 teams when it comes to a map like Hacienda?
Well, I mean, Dens has had a great series, I think, throughout. Even though, you know, they lost the first 2 maps, he looks solid on Seaside Hardpoint with that ICR. It just comes down to that ICR battle, right? Like, who's going to be the second one? That was the story for Gen.G against 100 Thieves, and I think Major Maniac played well last night. Who's going to be the second one? It's going to be Wuskin and Dens, and how those ICR battles come down to it.
Well, I think a lot of time when I cast Reciprocity, they get hard point victories. It's just never clean. It's always like kind of a messy
Always scrappy.
game.
This
Always
is
scrappy.
scrappy.
This is a very scrappy map. Maybe our scrappiest map in the rotation. Outside of Garage, I mean, nothing's that difficult to break. Even Garage, with all the different lanes you're able to hit that from.
I mean, teams have gotten better though, right? And I think the good Hacienda teams are very solid at holding the first hill and turning it not only into time, but also into Garage control.
So that'd be one of the keys we keep an eye on, chaining 1 to 2. And remember from the map 1, it was Reciprocity. It started out up like 60-1. Like they had the great start and then just slowed down massively from there. Can't afford to do that in the map 4 as they have to win it if they're gonna stay in this tournament. Reciprocity already has one top 3 this year. Gen.G has a top 2 from the most recent event. Neither of these teams have been able to sniff a championship.
And I was told
Their time.
since Anaheim, probably including Anaheim as well, but both teams have a losing record on this map. So when you talk about 50-50, doesn't get much closer than that.
Well, then it must be something that Reciprocity liked from their play this weekend, I would think, on this particular map. Otherwise, why you picking it if it's been a losing map for you? Must have been something you liked.
I think it's probably, obviously you probably don't want to play Gen.G on frequency.
It's true. Have you ever had that in your career where maybe you've had a really bad map, but you've kind of caught fire at a tournament and it's become one of your favorites as the weekend went on?
Yeah, try to make some adjustments. Maybe you have a bad pool play day, but hey, let's try to figure something out. Work on a different map in a different mode, and yeah, sometimes it just works out.
Map 4, all the pressure on Reciprocity. What a start from Reciprocity as Dylan and Zed, they'll take down 3. They'll be right into the opening hard point. Now it's going to be a battle for rock control and broadside control. We'll get right over to Dylan, who's fighting for that rock side of the map. He's going to end up dropping, but it'll still be Reciprocity fighting in and around the hard point. Gen.G will get in next.
You see what Reciprocity, they've done it right away. They flipped those spawns. That was the key for them. Now can they hold on to it without giving up too much time? All the kills going the way of Reciprocity as Alex is able to find his double. They're controlling top hallways perfectly. Now you're in a tough scenario if you're Gen.G. What do? Watch number 3. That's Moxie's going all the way around. He's going to have a 1 versus 1 against Zed. The rest of Gen.G are pushing through middle. That's an ICR though, a tough gunfight for him. You can see he's trying to stay alive, but Mox rips his big toe off, and then Envoy just goes through middle lobby. This could be a nice break for Gen.G, a rotation that should have went the way of Reciprocity.
They get the break in the back, so they should at least be able to get in here and contest and make it messy. 3 are going to go down, 1 scheme kill, but it's not going to matter as Gen.G gets smoked out of the hard point. They're going to be spawning out, I believe, all the way towards bottom bar, so you don't get a super close rock spawn either. So this is a great chance for Reciprocity to push open this lead, trying to spot Envoy in water, but can't quite get eyes on. Havoc and Envoy now find the entries for Gen.G as they come flooding forward. That's going to be 4 down for Reciprocity.
Yeah, nice shots from Mox on the Dens on that Lambo. Able to peel him. It's going to be the last push from Rec. As we head to fences, Gen.G gets all this time. We're going to have a tied game. There is still some pressure here. This is exactly what you want. Nagafin knows the rotation has to come from well side. He's got it locked down. Reciprocity going to have to bully their way through. It looks like 3 or 4 going to try to hit their way through it. This could be bad. It could be a slaughter for Gen.G, but Dens is able to find 2.
Yeah, I thought with Havoc and Nagafin both holding that cross, it would go a lot uglier. But Den's going big, should lead to early aggression towards the hard point, but that's going to be 4 kills in for Gen.G. Where does the spawn come in for Rec? 3 are very close, 2 are kind of out deep on the other side towards Rock. Nagafin clutches up with the multi-kill, but it's Mox that's the interesting narrative here. He's earned a lightning strike. He's working on the Hellstorm. You saw he's there able to earn it. So 5 in a row for Mox as Major Maniac controls Shed.
Well, that's what I was talking about with this AR battle. You see Wustian 1-7 right now, having a very slow game. So now with 10 seconds left, a 45-point lead. Reciprocity going to rotate towards Rock. They do find some key rotation kills. This 3 will go down.
Reciprocity. They need a big hold here. This first push crucial. Den's trying to lock down the back SUV. He knows he's got 2 players pushing him. The lightning strike gonna come in for Mox. Some damage, but I don't think he's able to get any kind of kill, but he gets him out of the hard point at least for now, and an opening for his teammates and the Sogs to fly on through. Havoc gets through the small door, they get into the hard point, and that hold Reciprocity needed disrupted behind the streak.
Yeah, the key thing was for Gen.G, they had a presence garage, they had a presence boathouse, and the lightning strike, I think, forces Reciprocity inside the hallway. So every kill after that was spawns Reciprocity so far out. Look at the position of number 6. That's where he spawned. That's exactly what you want. You're only able to do that with the lightning strike. So beautifully done. A nice break from Gen.G.
Oh, that was incredible. That was a thing of beauty, a thing of perfection. And it's led to a massive lead for Gen.G. Reciprocity in a horrible spot now. You can't put yourself in a big hole against the likes of Gen.G. We'll get into our second set of rotations. You need more of that out of Dylan, Joe. Dylan has got to turn up in a big way. Right now he's at 10 and 13. He needs to pull off something like map 4 against Luminosity. He's got to find that second bit of gas, that Super Saiyan mode where he just takes over the game.
Yeah, but you see Weston, that's really the guy you need to step up. That's his 3rd kill. That's going to be 4 as Dylan finds that. So maybe some time for Reciprocity to get their way back into it. Nobody in the hill right now. Definitely want to get in there and get that time. They're trying to set up for Garage. Specialist close to loading on in for Reciprocity. Havoc's going to use that grab sand, probably Garage Envoy with the War Machine.
And poor Weston struggling. He's like, all right, I'll get the time. But then he can't even do that as the flank comes in. Havoc was 175 off streaks, Joe, but not able to get him.
Then you saw the way he was shouldering that staircase. I think he's just trying to shoulder it and then probably pop the grab slam, maybe connect with 1 or 2. That would turn into some streaks. Instead, he gets taken down. They still have hill control. A 70-point lead. There's that War Machine out from Envoy. Going to connect a little bit, but Flat Jacket's out from Dylan.
I think Dylan had about 4 players shooting at him there with a volley of grenades in there as well.
Yeah, and I mean, for Envoy, it's not the most productive War Machine, but it forces Reciprocity to go up the staircase, and you have 3 Gen.G members just staring at it. Reciprocity just hasn't even been able to touch the hill.
And I think what's been so tough for Reciprocity is, yes, you asked the question, what do you do if Dylan doesn't have one of those superstar performances? But then on the other side of that, you've gotten that out of Envoy and Havoc. So not only is he struggling, but then when you see so much success on the other end, I know they kind of work hand in hand, but it's like double the damage, basically.
Well, and you got to think, too, you know, they lose their first winners round to E United. What does E United have that's so strong? A great Sog duo in Abizi and Simp, so.
And they got smoked, I believe, in that series. 100 points up is Gen.G. Reciprocity would need one of the more insane comebacks we've seen all year long if they're gonna do this. But there hasn't been a particular hardpoint that they've looked good on.
Not at all. We'll see if they can at least get Gen.G out of this hardpoint, and they will. So 3 dead, an opportunity, but as we know, very close spawns. Comes down to this second wave. But it's Havoc and Envoy once again, that duo finding the openers and putting the pressure, at least the contest on for Reciprocity.
And it seems like where Gen.G has had these breaks where they've been able to spawn them out far, these setups where they've been able to spawn them out far, Reciprocity hasn't done that once. It's been close spawns where Envoy and the boys have been able to fly right back in, and now you get streaks again. And even with 1 bullet in his gun, he's still able to get the final streak. The melee enough onto Dens. The vision pulse is out. He's gonna have to throw his gun at somebody if he wants to get more involved outside of that, but now he finds a Sog to use. Is at 6 in a row from Mox, stepping it up on the main stage, and now 40 points away from moving on to a loser's bracket final.
Now we can call this in, force them to try to push the hill or just spread out and hide. So time still being earned. I know he only finds a teammate with that lightning strike, but Reciprocity staying alive. Nagafin, though, he's gonna connect with 2 onto the Tempest. Here comes Dylan trying to fly on in.
Timing couldn't have been worse for that trophy toss. It seems like it's only a matter of time now unless Reciprocity do something wild.
I mean, you take a look at the top left, everything is used for Gen.G, where a lot has not been used, so there could be a big shift here. You just have to try to get the Hellstorm out from Mox, and you have to have a good fountain hold, and you can already see Gen.G, they know they just have to milk time as many seconds as they can get.
Can Alex get these streaks? And you have all the specialists, you have all the streaks, and maybe a prayer in this game. If this comeback's gonna start, you can't allow Gen.G to get any time here, and you have to hold the rotation to garage. There you can pull out your heavy hitters. Your War Machine can come into play. Your Tempest can come into play.
Even if you have a big garage, though, I was just say you would need a nice fences hold.
Oh, God, but Nagafin and Envoy, they combine to take down 4, and they might just put this out of reach. They can win it here. Reciprocity now going to be in do-or-die scramble time as they've got to clear them out. They're able to contest at least for now, just enough that we're going to see another hard point. They can't quite win it here if you're Gen.G, but you can all but do it.
Yeah, again, the problem for me, you can have a perfect garage, but because you don't get those streaks on to Alex, it's so hard to break fences and rotate and get scrap time. Dylan does get in, finds 2. So Reciprocity, they have a chance, but it's gonna have to take some very impactful specialists over these next couple of hills.
Gen.G have managed to take Dylan out of this series. He has not had the impact we've seen all tournament long. If they get all of this time, it's what, 245, 180. You just need one break if you're Gen.G. Dylan's gonna be taken out from behind. Zed's still sitting in the back with his War Machine. Next push coming on in. Din's able to at least split that push. A nice shot from Wuskin at the back statue, but Nagafin and Havoc, they get 3 kills. They find the entry. What a game from Havoc, 29 and 20. And Gen.G into the top 3 once again. They look like a team that have what it takes. Maybe they can bring home their first championship of the year.
And across the board there, just everybody contributing on Hacienda. Mox, though, with those 2 sets of streaks, really propelled them forward. I mean, when you had a nice setup for Reciprocity, there was a lightning strike that comes in, right? It's just so tough to deal with.
And I feel like what I saw, we talk about matchups and strong AR teams, strong sub teams, all the differences. I feel like these are in a way 2 similar teams. Gen.G's just better.
Yep.
What it boils down to, they're just better. Like that's why, I mean, you might have saw, I think maybe if LG won that series last night, their match versus Gen.G might have been closer just because that's a very different matchup. I think about the player pieces, but Reciprocity, just not enough firepower, at least from what I saw. They're so good at keeping it scrappy, but like every time they try to do it, it's like big play from Envoy, big play from Havoc.
Yeah, I think if you're Reciprocity, a great control, but I look back at map number 1. I think there was a couple of opportunities on Seaside, yet a couple of big games, but on a couple of key rotations, you just lost those fights.
Gen.G move on, Reciprocity's hopes done. Back to the desk.
Thank you very much. Reciprocity securing 4th place, but will not continue on here at Championship Sunday at the CWL Finals. Gen.G, however, keeping their hopes alive going into that losers final against either E United or FaZe Clan to try and make it to the grand final and then potentially win 2 best of 5s to take it away. All right, Nameless, you talked about the SOG duos in our previous segment, so what do you have to say about them now?
I mean, Envoy's absolutely incredible, but so is Havoc, right? On that first map, he was going off, Mox was going off. The whole team in the respawns, they were just great the entire time. But Envoy in that search and destroy, that was the most standout thing to me in the entire series. Yeah, he picked up streaks as well. And not only did he have 16 kills, he was so influential on the map. Every time he got in the front lines of those team pushes, he got a 2-piece. He got that first kill. Just the amount of damage that he's able to do when he's in front is impressive.
Watching that first map, Seaside, it all came down to Reciprocity started off that map really good with the first 2 hills. And then once it rotated to that Fountain Hill, going to barrels, at least on the second rotation, Gen.G was there first. They were able to hold Fountain Hill, and then Mox was able to pop his Vision Pulse, rotating into that barrel hill, and they just flawlessly broke that. They ended up winning the map by 50 points, but once you're able to chain both of those hills back to back, it's really hard to break that.
It wasn't just that one, it was 3 Fountain Hills in a row.
Yeah.
So I think that Reciprocity's structure on that map as a whole was probably better, but what Gen.G did a lot better was just making sure after that second hill that they weren't putting in too many bodies in those situations, so they could make sure they got that fountain control, because everyone knows from that hill you get streaks, and it's often easier to rotate in the barrels, and they were doing that tremendously.
Yeah, there were a few great mistakes they made on that first map. This map, Gen.G was just firing on all cylinders. There was no chance that Reciprocity was going to win it, but Rec actually had a good chance to win that map 1, right? Like, there were a couple times that they were set up on that second hill, and they were getting those kills, but they decided to try to push out the back for some reason to get back spawns, which you don't need. You can get the last 30 seconds on second hill and still have spawns and rotate towards fountain. So there's just a few mistakes that they were making, like hitting scrap, that ultimately cost them, and they only lost by 45 points in the end, which they could have avoided earlier on in the map.
Unfortunately, Dylan just didn't have the series as he's been having basically the entire weekend, but that doesn't take anything away from that guy. The way that he was able to perform for his team was insane. So no discredit or anything. I know you had a bad series, but it's only one series. You got champs to focus on. Just work on a little bit more teamwork, man. And you guys be nasty.
It's just that the two teams they lost to, they went up against
powerful
United and now Gen.G. Those are two of the best, if not the two best teams with the two best SOG duos in the game, and it's just hard to handle. We were talking about Invoice so much before the series, and yeah, he had a tremendous search and destroy. Look at those stats, incredible. But Havoc had a 1.27 in both the hard points. Havoc came and stepped up tremendously. Like, what? I'm here too. Like, I'm
Everybody
nasty.
did. Moggs picked up streaks early on both hard points. Keep that in mind. Like, the stats may not reflect it, but he was picking up streaks. That makes the game a lot easier for your SOC players to go in and do some damage. And, you know, whereas Naga started the series a little bit slow, he was 30 and 20 on that map. He had the best stats on that game 4, so he picked it up towards the end, and that's why that map was so easy, right? When you have Naga going off, you're going to win.
When they decided to switch Spacey back out for Nagafin is because they said they felt more comfortable in their system. It's no shade to Spacey, they just felt more comfortable, and we're seeing it now. Just their teamwork looks so incredible with Naga, and their respawns are just incredibly strong.
Let's look at our grand finals bracket. Again, Gen.G continuing on in that losers bracket run, while Reciprocity will take home 4th. But FaZe Clan and United both fighting desperately to get into the grand finals through the winners bracket. Neither one of them wants to try and make a losers bracket run, especially after coming so very far. And really a quick thought pack back on Gen.G. Are you concerned for them at all on their controls going forward? Because that was the one thing Reciprocity looked fairly strong against them and taking that 3-1.
I mean, not really. It's all match to match and situational. It depends on which team drops down. They can end up. We don't know who's going to lose that match. And honestly, I'm more worried for the team that loses the winners finals because we already know how the momentum is after you lose a match, and you're playing Gen.G, who's now beat 100 Thieves and then dominated in this series. Like, I'm more worried about that team than I am Gen.G.
And one of those two teams, you can see it now in our schedule, FaZe Clan or United will fall down to face off against Gen.G later on. And that match between those two, again, FaZe and United, is going to be coming up very soon. Our Championship Sunday is underway. Unfortunately, Reciprocity's hopes have been dashed, being taken down 3-1 by Gen.G in that losers bracket to take home a 4th place finish. Coming up next, we have United and FaZe Clan.